For 2 years, the lake behind my house had been my sanctuary. Early mornings, late evenings, I'd walk the gravel path, cast a line, and let the silence speak. It wasn't just water and trees. It was peace. Then came Helena Sterling. She wasn't just the HOA president. She was the self-declared queen of the neighborhood. Clipboard in hand, sunglasses perched like a crown. She marched up to me one morning and said, "This lake is now private. You need a permit." I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Helena handed me a flimsy paper with bold red letters. Lake access permit required. Beneath it, "You need to pay in cash," she snapped. "No receipts, no questions." I blinked. Was this even legal? I mean, we're talking about a lake, not Area 51. But before I could ask more questions, Helena was marching away. That day, I didn't get to fish. I got to thinking. In fact, I'd used this lake for years. Never needed a permit before. Helena just made things up as she went along. And worst of all, she seemed pleased with herself. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't about the lake. It was about power. Control, and Helena had declared war. It didn't take long for the neighborhood whispers to begin. Helena's voice carried farther than her clipboard. Suddenly, neighbors I'd greeted for years began turning their backs. One even told me I'd been banned from common property. None of it was true. She was seeding lies, oozing fear to isolate me. And when I confronted her, she said sweetly, "You know how gossip works. I don't control what people believe." But she did, and she knew it. That lake had become a battlefield, and Helena, she was rallying an army. Every time I stepped outside, she was there. By the mailbox, behind a shrub, peeking through blinds. Once I even found a crow skull by my door. You know, the bird. Was this escalation or just plain crazy? Maybe both. Then I had enough. I took my kayak to the lake. 10 minutes in, I saw her on the shore with her phone up, filming me like I was committing a felony. "She's trespassing," she yelled too. "No one in particular." I paddled closer and calmly asked, "How can I trespass on something I've used for 2 years?" "Bright red," her reply. You won't be smiling when the fines hit. I knew I needed proof, so I set up my own cameras. Days after our confrontation, an envelope appeared on my porch. Inside, a notice from the HOA. I'd been fined $500 for unauthorized lake access. No warning. And there it was again. Helena's signature, stamped at the bottom. I reached out to the HOA board, but every call was redirected to her. Every email bounced back with the same reply. Talk to Helena. It was a one-woman show, and she was making the rules as she went. The lake wasn't just off limits now. It was a trap, and I was walking straight into it. I wasn't going to let Helena rewrite the rules or the truth. So I installed security cameras, one by the lake trail, another near my porch, a third facing the street. Every angle, every encounter documented. At first, she didn't notice, but when she did, her response was theatrical. She marched up, waving her clipboard like a sword. You think you're clever? She snapped. This is harassment. I calmly pointed to the surveillance in use sign. You wanted rules, I said. Now we both play by them. She didn't like that. Not one bit. The footage spoke louder than words. Helena barking orders, yelling across property lines, threatening fines over imaginary infractions. I edited together. Clips clean. I posted it to the neighborhood Facebook group with one caption: Truth behind the permit queen. Within hours, the comments rolled in. She did this to me too. I thought I was the only one. Can the HOA even do this? Helena had ruled by isolation. But now, the community was waking up and she was losing control of the narrative. 2 days after the video went public, a crisp letter landed in my mailbox. Stamped with the HOA's letterhead, it read, You are hereby issued a cease and desist for defamation and harassment. But here's the twist. I had every interaction on tape, every permit demand, every public meltdown, every false accusation. And I wasn't alone anymore. Multiple residents reached out offering their own footage and stories. Helena had turned a peaceful lake into a legal minefield. And now, she was tiptoeing through the consequences. A week after Helena Sasanda's threat, something unexpected happened. A county maintenance crew arrived with bright orange vests and heavy equipment ready to clear a runoff channel near the lake. Helena, however, wasn't having it. She stormed out, waving her permit book, shouting at the workers to halt. This is HOA land. You need my authorization. The county foreman didn't blink. He pointed to the zoning map. This area belongs to the county. Step aside, he said calmly. Losing her title didn't stop Helen. It only made her more unpredictable. Late one night, a neighbor's tires mysteriously slashed. Anonymous complaints flooded the HOA inbox, each one targeting me. I knew the pattern, the timing, the signature chaos. Then came the anonymous flyer. Lake Rule Breaker exposed. It had my photo, my address, twisted accusations. But this time, I wasn't alone. The community rallied. One even installed extra cameras facing the street. Helena wanted revenge, but all she did was prove why she had to go. It happened at 2:17 a.m.